Hey everybody, and welcome to the Militia, the Sappy edition. I was talking to my dad on Skype, and I brought up politics. My bad. But it was kind of funny, and I wish I recorded a conversation, but it's in Swahili, so you wouldn't understand it anyway. But I started talking about Obama, and I said, "Hey, that guy's really making a mess, huh?" My dad goes, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, oh. And so I'm talking to him, and I'm telling him, yeah, he's doing this and he's doing that, just like I would on a commentary. And my dad goes, "Oh man, you've been watching too much Fox News." I'm not kidding, he said it that way. And I go, "What's wrong with Fox News?" And he goes, "Well, Fox News is so Republican." And I was like, what? You make it seem like that's a bad thing. So I told him that most of the other networks are left-leaning, and he agreed, actually. But he said, "But CNN is really trying to make an effort lately to be balanced." And I said, "Really?" I wouldn't know, I don't watch CNN. And then my dad goes, "So I guess you like Bill O'Reilly." And I go, "Not really. I mean, he's been soft on Obama." And I explained, like, he wants Obama on his show. He had Obama on his show. He has to be middle of the road because of the time slot and what have you, just like I did in a commentary. And so my dad goes, "Yeah, I guess you're right. He was kind of soft on Obama. I noticed that." And then, you know how people tend to become more conservative as they get older? Well, my dad is like the opposite. He used to be so conservative, and now he's like so liberal that I fear in 10 years from now he'll be a communist. Oh man. And then he was talking about Bush, and he started saying all this stuff like, yeah, and that Bush, he started the war in Iraq. It had nothing to do with Al Qaeda. And then I said, yeah, but there's bases there now. United States has bases in Iraq, in the middle of the Middle East. And he goes, so he's acting like I just revealed a true reason. And I said, yeah, and the oil is there, why not? It's strategic. And he goes, But I said, but that's what I thought all along. I never bought into the, it's part of Al Qaeda or this or that. No, it's strategic. And I also told my dad, well, there's a strategic interest, and so any president will be aware of that. And I also told my dad, and it's not like I have to tell my dad what to think, but I'm just defending my opinions. And I told him that actually when you become president, you're privy to a lot of information, and that may change what you've been thinking all along. And my dad said, yeah, it seems like Obama has been seeing a lot of intelligence and other reports that causes him not to close Gitmo, or he is postponing pulling out of Iraq, and this and that. And it's true, the United States does have a strategic plan, and it's one of those ultra-secret plans that only presidents can see. And I think Obama has seen it, and that's why he's waffling on pulling out of Iraq too soon. And also, he kept FISA and the Patriot Act, and that tells you a lot. And then my dad goes, and how about that Cheney? And he told me, this guy is, God, he's like a snake. He's really a terrible human being. And I said, easy now, easy now. But I told my dad, he could have been worse. Cheney fucked Bush over on some issues, maybe cherry-picking intelligence, not really telling Bush the full truth. Maybe Bush is not the main person that liberals should be blaming, but Bush is accountable and responsible, and I don't think that President Bush did anything wrong. In fact, I told my dad, hey, that Saddam is gone, and my dad started sputtering something about Iran and Iraq, and I said, it's better to have proactive control right next to Iran than to delegate it to a nasty dictator like Saddam Hussein, because you don't really know if he's gonna listen or not. And then we talked about Michelle Obama. My dad brought it up, and he goes, that Michelle Obama is kind of pretty for a black woman. And I thought, oh, isn't that a racist statement? Why does he have to add for a black woman? But okay, I said, what? Are you kidding? She's ugly. My dad goes, you're just saying that because you don't like Obama. My dad seems to have all the liberal talking points. Maybe he's been watching Keith Olbermann. Who knows? But my dad probably doesn't know who Keith Olbermann is. But he comes out with all these liberal talking points. So I said, well, why does whether I like Obama or his policies, yes or no, have to do with my 2020 vision? I mean, please, you look at this woman, she's ugly. And I told my dad, what if you take Whitney Houston or Beyonce and compare them to Michelle Obama? Now, Whitney Houston, Beyonce, these are beautiful black women, I said. And of course my dad doesn't know who Beyonce is, but he knows who Whitney Houston is. So he goes, yeah, but I just think Michelle Obama's attractive, something like that. And so I said, okay, fine. Wow. And I also told my dad that he seems to be buying into all that left-wing media and all these stories that, oh, Obama's so perfect, so his wife naturally has to be beautiful. And that they're just making up all these stories about how great Michelle Obama is, and that it's all just hype. And my dad goes something like, well, maybe, but I still think she's attractive for a black woman. Okay. And then we talked a little bit about Fox News, and I was telling my dad that I thought they're really professional, and he also agreed, even though he says they're so Republican. Yeah, they're really pro. And my dad goes, hey, there's this guy, and he's a real badass. He used a word that is similar to badass in English. And I'm like, who's he talking about? And I thought, he cannot be talking about Glenn Beck. Okay. A badass crying. No. So I was thinking, who's he talking about? Greta van Susteren? No. And he goes, yeah, this guy's, he's always talking about Obama, and he seems to be really tough. And I go, Sean Hannity? And my dad goes, yeah, that's him. So people who are kind of leaning to the left, or people on the left, they really see like O'Reilly as a boogeyman, and they see Hannity as being like a badass. And for my dad to say that someone's like a badass, I find that so surprising, because Hannity to me is like a Catholic boy who doesn't like Obama. And I agree with him a lot because I'm also Catholic. Hey, I also don't like Obama or his policies, but I don't see Hannity as a badass. It's like those people that are fans of Olbermann. They think like, oh, he's so honest, he's such a journalist, he's so intelligent. And I don't know why people have this reverence for one of these idiots talking on TV. Like, okay, I like Hannity if he says what I agree with, but I don't revere this guy, and I certainly don't think he's a badass. But so I know that people on the left see conservatives in that way because conservatives have character and individualism, and when you combine those two, you do get a Bill O'Reilly or a Sean Hannity. And for left, that's something they're not used to. They see somebody with individualism and a strong character, and it scares them. That they see the person as someone evil or a boogeyman or a badass, because people on the left are fucking weak and pathetic. It's really true, and this proves it once again. So for my dad to be leaning to the left as he is, shows that he bought into that European socialist view. And I can't really blame them, because 90% of people down there do believe all of those things. But in countries across Europe, there are socialist governments, and they're giving the right to vote to immigrants who don't even have official papers. That's like in the United States, you would give the right to vote to 12 million illegal Mexicans. Socialists are doing that, and my dad even admitted and said to me, well, it's just a way for socialists to get more votes. And that's exactly what Obama's going to do with the census and with the illegal immigrants. That way, they're guaranteed to have socialism in a perpetual state in the United States. Now, I don't usually discuss politics with my dad. We have much better things to talk